Pelopidas was an exile trying to slip back into his own city and kill the men who ruled it. If the 12 men with him were recognized on the road, their friends had agreed to look after their children and parents. Sparta had seized the citadel of Thebes and left a garrison there. Its allies in the city had murdered one opponent, driven Pelopidas and others into exile, and begun hunting the survivors even in Athens. Pelopidas persuaded a few of the younger exiles to go home first. They put on short country coats, took hunting poles and hounds, and set out as if they were beating over the fields. Then one frightened conspirator tried to call the whole thing off. He sent a messenger after them. The messenger went home for his horse's bridle. His wife had lent it to a friend. Neither could find it. The two began shouting and cursing each other. By the time the quarrel ended, the messenger took it for a bad omen and abandoned the journey. Pelopidas never received the warning. He and the others divided into smaller groups and entered Thebes through different parts of the city while it was still daylight. Wind had risen. Snow began to fall, driving people indoors and clearing their way to the house of a supporter named Charon. There the 12 found other conspirators waiting, 48 men altogether. That evening someone told Archias, one of the city's rulers, that exiles were hiding in Thebes. The report was true, though vague. Archias immediately summoned Charon. Back at Charon's house, the conspirators already had breastplates on and swords at their sides. They assumed the plot had been exposed. Before Charon left to face Archias, he brought out his young son and placed the boy in Pelopidas' hands. "If you find me a traitor, treat this boy as an enemy without any mercy." Archias had only a rumor. Charon promised to investigate it and returned safely. One danger had passed. Then a messenger arrived at Archias' banquet, carrying a letter from Athens. The writer knew every particular of the conspiracy. The writer desired it might be read at once, the messenger said. "It is on urgent business." Archias was drunk. He smiled, said, "Urgent business tomorrow," put the letter beneath his pillow and went back to his conversation. The conspirators split into two parties. One group pulled women's clothes over their breastplates and hid their faces behind thick garlands of fir and pine. The men at the banquet cheered when they entered, expecting the women they had been promised. The disguised men studied the room, drew their swords, and went for Archias and his fellow ruler among the tables. Pelopidas had the harder door. Leontidas was sober, in bed, and locked inside his house. Pelopidas' men hammered until a servant finally opened it, then rushed upstairs. Leontidas sprang from bed, drew a dagger, and met them in the light at his chamber door. He stabbed the first man through. The body fell in the narrow passage. Pelopidas came next. They fought over the dead man until Pelopidas killed Leontidas. His party then chased another ruler into a neighboring house and killed him too. The conspirators broke open the armorers' shops and armed the citizens who joined them. Fires shone from the houses. Men ran through the streets. The Spartan garrison, about 1,500 strong, stayed inside the citadel amid the noise and confusion. At daylight, more exiles entered armed. The people assembled and welcomed Pelopidas and his companions as deliverers. They blockaded the citadel until the garrison surrendered and marched away. On the road home, the departing Spartans met the relief force marching toward Thebes. Pelopidas had returned as the 12th man to a private house. From that night came the war that ended Sparta's supremacy on land and sea.